I think he met Greg Hemphill, like say an open mic night or something, and they started doing stuff together, and then I think Chewing the Fat was born from that. But he goes on to open goal, and he's like, it's like coming out of the closet. He comes out as not being a football fan, and they can't get their fucking heads around it, man. They can't believe that the writer of Still Game is not a football fan.
They, is there
Yeah.
not a sketch in Chewing the Fat where there's only an excuse? There's definitely one where it's like the assistant manager is the main idea, the joke. So the manager's out like pointing to people, and then the assistant manager's supposed to be the guy that actually he doesn't know anything about football. So he just stands behind the manager and copies every movement he does.
Aye,
Like
aye, aye, aye.
is
I
that
think
Chewing the
that might
Fat?
be Chewing the Fat. Aye. Uh huh.
But I think it's Ford Kiernan's character that does the like he watches and then he goes or like he'll have a go
Aye.
at a sub and then he'll go and shout at the same sub.
Mhm.
But I suppose you don't need no football to understand that or to think of that joke.
Well, it's not even that. To be a writer of sort of Glaswegian based comedy, you need to have your finger on the pulse in terms of
Yeah,
football. So imagine in the Venn diagram of football interest, they were in there somewhere. Everyone knows something. We all know something. Even a non-football fan knows who Neil Lennon and Steven Gerrard are. That's maybe clutching at
it's
straws,
strange
but
though, isn't it? Because I don't think maybe because we live here we're too in it and you don't realise that. But yeah, my wife hates football. Like doesn't has no interest in it.
mhm,
But yeah, she'll you could show her pictures of football, Celtic and Rangers players from I don't know the 90s and 2000s, and she'll be able to name quite a few just because it is so ingrained in
uh-huh.
our lives. It's fucking it's weird because like,
My uncle
can you
gave me like
imagine
a
it's like that
signed
if you live in
Celtic top. My uncle gave me like a signed Celtic top, right? And like I don't know, mid 2000s, and I'm pretty sure I like wore it playing football once.
oh you don't do that
Just
Jesus
don't know who names on it are, don't know what team it was, don't know what year. Just wore and Purcell, see those black stains that were all over it. Purcell got them right out, man. All those black
thanks
squiggles
Perso
that must have got from playing football.
surely autographs are now
Redundant.
worthless
You would think so, but you still get
unless
autograph artists.
unless
As long
it's
as there's the
it
spectrum.
could be I would say an autograph of a football that's now deceased maybe still worth something or an autograph of a player.
Do you mean like digging him up, putting the pen in his hand, and then just rubbing a shirt
Yeah,
over his
yeah,
over his head?
Maradona wipe the coke off his face, get his hand, just right. You were always my hero, Scott. Thank you for being an inspiration.
Do you ever see the videos of him getting like past coke in the dugout?
It was a different time,
It was
James.
like
Okay,
5 years ago. Have you seen that one? It's like
I have seen loads of Maradona, man.
they've employed staff to covertly pass him grams of coke. Like that's when you look at football staff and you go, what are all those roles? There was like six people who they were like
Yeah.
magicians, and it was like the best sleight of hand guys in Argentina were employed so that they could pass him coke in the dugout.
Normally, a kit man at any other team involves two people. There was 17 people employed to hand drugs to Maradona.
Sawed a woman in
Just
half for the halftime show.
oh,
Maradona, he was one of the only fat cokeheads. Him and maybe Artie Lang. Who was he? Artie Lang,
aye,
the American
aye.
comic, whose
Joey
nose
Diaz as
collapsed in on
well in his
itself.
heyday. He
Uh,
was huge, man.
aye.
But he said it was like coke because a lot of other people coke will like burn off energy and all that, and they won't need food. Whereas, Joey Diaz was like, nah, I'd have it, and then I'd go and eat like 9 burgers on the way home from a gig. Uh,
Right.
oh,
I
Maradona, man.
I was
But
speaking to
it's
someone. I go,
no crack on. Crack on.
No, I was speaking to someone the other day and they were like, yeah, have you listened to like Joe Rogan recently? Everyone's moving to Texas. And I was like, no,
Oh,
it's just Joe Rogan's mates. Do you know what's scary? Like
exactly.
people, I worry about like I bet there's like a husband of a family who listens to that podcast, and he's like, "Honey, we're moving to Texas," and they move from like Oregon to Texas
Oh,
just because Joe Rogan told them to. I would bet, right? I would bet there's a guy in the UK who listens to JRE who's like, who moves the family to Texas.
I,
Cause
it
fucking,
might be.
I'm not going to Texas, lad. Cause fucking Joe Rogan said.
Imagine someone like me, right?
I wanna be a comedian like Brendan Schaub.
That, aye. Used to be an okay fan of Brendan Schaub. Bought tickets for his Glasgow show that's now cancelled, but I,
You
sh-
didn't, did you?
I did. I
For the
liked fighting the
research
kids.
thing.
See, back in the day, fighting
Yeah.
the kids was. I listened to it like 6 years ago, and see then in its kind of infancy, it was just two mates just taking the piss at themselves, out of each other, out of silly things that were happening. But all of a sudden, their egos got massive, and it became so political. Honest, like you're like, you have forgotten this is supposed to be just having a laugh. Like people are listening to this on their way to work. They just want to hear
Right.
you being silly. We don't need to hear your thoughts on
Uh,
Trump or how the homeless problem in California is getting out of hand. Do you know what? They get so out. The two of them get so out of touch with the people that were listening to them.
mm,
It just became uncomfortable. So no, I will not be attending it. But back to the GRE thing. You imagine someone like me, right? So I didn't start comedy as if I'm in comedy, right? But
yeah.
I, okay. Both my kids were born, right? I was 31 first time, 31 first time I did a gig. Can you imagine if that happened now? I was 31 and comedy was kind of up and down all over the place. And I sat my wife down and went, right, I know that Scott, like, we're doing quite well here. We've got quite a nice life. The kids are at school and everything, but it's my comedian. And she'd be like, that's fine. We've all got dreams. We've all got dreams. Um, so here's the thing. I've booked his flights to Texas.
The
I've
US of A.
yeah, America in America. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I've sold the house. I got a good price. I got a good price. We've sold the house. And yeah, the kids are going to go to American school now
Mm-hmm.
and learn how to shoot guns. And I know all your friends are here, right? But if you could just look after the kids whilst I go to open mics around the huge state of Texas, and the off chance that Joe Rogan sees me at one and thinks I'm funny and invites me on to his podcast,
Yep.
is that okay?
The dream.
The dream of moving.
Yep.
But you're right, mate. There'll be people that will be thinking, oh, Austin, Texas must be the place to be.
I know.
Just,
Cause
but,
like
eh, but that's the
six
thing. It's some,
comedians.
aye, exactly. You're
Six
you're
out of
talking
touch
about,
wealthy comedians. He's so out of touch, that guy. He's miles out of touch. He
and
doesn't know.
also when things go back to normal, they're not just gigging in Austin. Tom Segura is not doing all his shows in Austin. He's selling out theaters in every state across America.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So these are
it's
guys that,
nothing to do with where they live.
yeah,
They've
exactly.
gone there for a
Touring
tax break.
comedians. Exactly. Isn't that part of it? Also, I don't get it. Joe Rogan's
Yeah.
whole thing is like being a weed guy. Isn't Texas like it doesn't have like the harshest drug laws in the entire United States?
Do they? I don't know, man. I
Aye,
thought
man,
they were
you'll
quite
do you'll fucking go to the slammer for having like a couple of grams of weed on you or whatever. Like it's not
li-
it's pretty strict.
liberalism's weird because yeah, he's moved to a state that's very conservative, but their conservatism, is that right? The word, the way they
That is
see
now
it, it is now. The way they see conservatism, the more you say it, it
conservat
becomes a word.
conservatories
But aye,
conservatives. Tories, those Tory
So
bastards
those
who
Tory
are running
bastards in
Texas.
Texas, right?
Yep.
The way they see it is that they should be given the freedom to choose whatever they want to do, except do drugs. But then liberals they're actually the same people. They're the same. They all just want to be free in some way. There you
Well,
go.
it's
I've not.
libertarians are those types. They want the choice of freedom, but they tend to err on the side of being conservative and right wing.
They're the guys.
But like Joe
Do
Rogan
they?
wouldn't be living in Texas if he wasn't worth hundreds of millions of dollars right now.
No.
Why are they
Yeah, because I
fleeing
think
California anyway? Do you know any? I don't listen to the podcast anymore, so I don't know any of this. Just someone said to me the other day, like everyone's moving to Texas.
because they've just said that. I know that's
Because in his
everyone.
head,
There's a handful. There's a
yeah,
handful. Bill
no,
Burr said that.
comedians who are affiliated with the Joe Rogan Experience are moving to
Yeah.
Texas.
Bill Burr said that in his podcast with Paul Vursey. He said people are all saying everyone's moving out of California, and you're like, and he said, no, they're not. There's
Yeah.
plenty of us here. I promise you, there's plenty of us here. It's just that uh, certain people are moving to places that benefit them right now. It's because uh, there's issues with making movies and stuff like that. So a lot of comedians are in LA because they want to do comedy, but they also want to be spotted so they can get into TV shows and movies.
Hmm.
So now that that's not, you don't necessarily need to be in Los Angeles for that. They'll
Yeah.
just be like, all right, so I can go. If you go and live in Texas, if you've got $5 million to spend on a property, I think I think it's similar to like if you lived in London because you wanted to be part of the London comedy scene, but it costs you 4 grand a month for a 1 bedroom flat. But you could move to Glasgow where it's far more reasonable. And
Yeah, you
you,
can do like the stand one night and
yeah.
you know
So it's really just the
African restaurant the
successful
next.
people that are moving out. It's not. There'll still be a huge open mic community. You'd imagine.
Yeah, but it's like you say, it's just sad that there's people who will uproot and move there because they heard it on a podcast that they should.
Yes. Yes. As if that's the way they put it though. The only place to be, the up and coming place, is in Austin. It's like they
Mhm.
imagine Rogan's going over there and setting up the Joe Rogan Comedy Club.
Can't buy, yeah.
There's going to be
Gated
400
community.
people in it, 7 nights a week. Everyone gets a shot. No.
Isn't that what he's doing though? He's opening a comedy club there.
Yeah, so anyone that's listening to this, if you go on to Ryanair, fuck that. There's no way Ryanair would fly to Austin, Texas.
Standing the whole way. Just holding in a piss so you don't
Uh,
need to pay for it.
they tell you you're going to Texas, but actually, if you look in the small print, you've just landed in New Mexico. It's near enough. Fucking
Little
hop the
Texas.
train. How many people have booked a flight
Ryanair.
to Glasgow and landed in Prestwick and being like, where the fuck's George Square from here? I bet there's some obscure football fans that have got tickets to Hamden and thought, it's all right, we'll get a flight to Prestwick. We'll
Every time you roll up to Presswick, you're like, is this definitely open? It's
aye.
abandoned. None of the shops are open. There's no security at customs. It's like self checkout at the supermarket. You just self scan and you tap
You
a thing
pat
that says,
yourself
"I'm
down.
not,
Yeah. Do
I'm
you have
not
any
here."
knives? Nah, I'm cool, mate.
You do the Macarena. You go like that. You touch your hips. You jump round and then you put your suitcase through.
Can you imagine if the
Digipag your own
Ryanair
bag.
guy
Yep.
said, right, we're spending too much money on this security stuff. Can't we just get people to pat can you pat the person next to you, make sure they're not dangerous? And that'll get you on the flight. Like really, do we need to pay these people? Metal detectors?
Mm-hmm.
The fuck needs that?
You're just grabbing crotches next to you, copping a
I think he
few.
was wanting to charge people to use the toilet at one point. That guy.
Aye, they were. Aye, there was like a toilet fee. Don't know how that would work. Just imagine the really cramped toilet with one of those guys just like aftershave. But like, you can't move. It's like the same size toilet, and you're sitting down, and he's right there, and he's just oh sprays jupe jump in your eye. Fucking hell, man.
You having a good night? You want a bit?
Having a good flight. Yeah, man.
You want
I'm
some chewing
sorry.
gum?
I don't have any change, man. I'm sorry. I want to squeeze round
It
and give
pulls
you
a
the
card
toilet
machine.
roll. I've only been around there for like fucking years, man.
Oh, I remember I was uh it was when I proposed to my now wife. We were in Italy. I remember the flight back vividly how much of a rammy it was. It was from Pisa to Prestwick maybe, and there was at that point there wasn't even the option. Now you can now pay extra to choose your seat.
Yeah.
At that point, that wasn't even a thing. It was basically you had a bus ticket. Like there was no, can we have rows A to D first? There was none of that. It was the doors are open. You've got 15 minutes before we take off. Go.
Go,
Which
go,
it,
go.
it was horrible because you could see these people that were a bit older and a bit tubbier. They were like a bit stressed out because they couldn't get on fast enough, and people
Hmm.
are pushing themselves out the way and just grabbing any seat going. I'm fairly sure that it was overbooked and they didn't tell anyone to get off. There was just folks standing the whole time.
Have you ever been on a flight where there's like nobody on it and you can just lie across seats?
No, it seems like the dream though.
Oh, it's amazing. I was on. I don't even know why, but we flew back from like New York years ago, and there was fucking nobody on the flight, man. Like there was like I don't know, but there's a big plane like that, long haul,
300
three
maybe? I don't
hundred
know.
people. There was maybe like 50 people on it. It was so good, man. You just lay across the seats, and it was class.
I've seen videos pop up on social media where there's like guys that have managed to get on a flight and there's two of them on, and the air hostesses just bring them drinks and food the whole time because like they need to use the food that it goes off. So it's just like, yeah, you can have six of these if you want. I don't mind airplane food.
Are you gonna do a bit?
It did sound like Jerry Seinfeld. Like, hey, what
Don't
about?
Scott, don't try your material on me, pal.
Hey,
I
so
don't mind
mu-
airplane food.
the airplane food's like mother-in-laws
It's
dead.
fucking it's a fucking bitch, yeah. It's a fucking fat bitch. I need to pee. Can you pause this? Are you able to pause
Uh,
this?
no, there's just stop. So it's fine. If you go,
Do you
I'll
want to?
just
Can you man the ship?
give me something to talk about for the next 90 seconds, and I'll try and fill the air.
Uh, I after my haircut, I look like Dan Bilzerian.
Okay, James is massively overestimating how handsome he is, because I'm fairly sure Dan Bilzerian is. He was the like. I think he was in the military, but then left and then figured out how to do social media pretty well and made money doing that. And then he entered poker contests, and then he was always pictured with like 16 women on a yacht. I can't imagine James being that guy. Maybe our listeners can tell me whether how how far along the scale James is from Dan Bilzerian. Wonder if James plays poker. He very rarely smiles or moves his eyes as they're way too close together. James would be a great poker player. I once played poker with my wife. Well, I've played poker with her quite a few times, but it's a shit euphemism. And I remember she once, I told her how rare it was to get a royal flush. and I had a really good hand going into the last card getting turned over, and I thought the odds of me not winning this are just non-existent. This is won. The hand that I had, the cards that were shown, the game was won without a doubt. And she had a royal flush, like no, no cheating going on. It was purely she had it, and then has never let it go because she's told me that that was pure skill, and there's no skill. See, when you don't ever fold, she never folds. That's how she plays poker. She never folds. I'll fold all the time, like right, because I think too much. I'll work out the odds of having a good hand are gone, but she'll just go nah, keep going, and then she ended up with a royal flush one time.
You managing?
Managing all right, mate. Managing all right. Went off on a
Good
wee
stuff.
thing. I feel like you've overestimated your handsomeness, Dan Bilzerian.
Oh no, I was just saying the proportions are like the same. I don't know. I know how I look. I know how I look.
I'm aware of how I look as well. See, the other night when I was doing that gig and you
Yeah.
sent me the photo, I showed that to my wife the next day and she fell silent for a few minutes. Not out
Really?
of lust or love, pure. It was like,
Disgust.
this is what I'm legally tied to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then she mentioned that I need to take better care of myself.
Really?
She says it all the time.
You were looking a bit sort of shiny, a
Aye,
puffy,
she said my
but bit fatter than usual. You know.
a bit a bit tubbier than.
Mm.
It's okay, man. I'm
Aye.
aware of. I'm aware
Skin
of.
was a skin was a bit dry. Um,
Yeah,
2 seconds. But
yeah,
I've notes in my phone. We'll be here all day.
yeah. Uh, is it under how shit Scott looks? Is there a folder?
I don't know. Aye.
I know how I look. I used to look okay. I used to look alright. Uh, life
We all look
happens.
one
This
way
this
or
is how
another.
you look if you've never had coronavirus. This is how good I look, and I've never had
So it's
any
not as
kind
bad
of
as they say.
but I've never had it.
How do you
So
know though?
I look this bad. That's true. I've never had a test. I've only done the lateral flow things, but apparently they're only 40% accurate, mate.
In the whole of Corona, really 40%? Is that the tip
Apparently,
says
yeah,
it?
when they first came out, because of you're not doing it as accurate or the procedures aren't as tight as obviously if you go to a testing clinic or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's
In
not
the
the
whole
same.
of coronavirus, I haven't had as much as a test. Because any like day or two where I thought I might have a symptom, I did the. It was tempting to go, that's a symptom and get tested.
Yeah.
And I just went, nah, I'll give it a few hours, and it went away. And also, see when like the first symptoms came out, and it was things like obviously like the obvious things were coughing and things. Like I cough a lot after I eat. I don't know if you're the same. Like depending on what you eat, get a bit throaty and cough. And I've only
Uh,
just noticed I do it since coronavirus.
but
Also, it's probably
was
dry
Megan able to
throat.
say that you
Actually,
actually do that? You do that quite regularly anyway? Did she bail you out?
she bailed me out. She
Yeah.
bailed me out. Uh, Welcome
Um,
to Miles Off It.
yeah, sorry. We're 24 minutes in. Welcome to Miles Off It with me,
As is a
Scott
disaster.
Steele. And no, it's not. You shut your
James
fucking.
Needy
James never had COVID. McCluskey and
24
our
and
what?
Peter
Department.
Peter Wartick. Isn't here again.
He's not here again. He's claiming that he's got 16 reasons, like his arsehole fell out or something. But the reality is, he's an Arsenal fan, and
Yep.
tonight is the Europa League semi-final, and we believe he's full of shite, and he's
He's
actually
not.
watching that.
He's not
He's not
committed.
actually during. I don't even believe that he's taking part in Ramadan. Do
He's
you
well.
take
He
part
don't.
in that? Is that really insensitive to say you take part in that?
I don't know you. How would you say it?
You
You take part. You.
participating? Did you get a certificate at the end to say you've done all the fasting?
The thing is, he's not really though, is he? Because we got me swear last week, and you're not supposed to swear during Ramadan.
Yeah. I gave him a roll and bacon once at a gig and he ate it.
Really?
He
That's
doesn't. Nah.
scandalous.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't
Doesn't
give a
care.
fuck. He doesn't give a
James,
doesn't give a pig's ass.
I I'm man enough to admit it. I watched a film last night, and for the first time in many years, I did something that I don't do during films.
No, the wank.
Uh, no, that's not been that long.
Oh, cinema's
Um,
open. And you go.
uh, I shed a tear. I cried at a film last night.
Oh, film.
Don't laugh. Don't
Um,
demasculine
no, I'm not.
demasculate me.
Throaty. I ate recently. On you go. What film?
Mm-hmm. I had to text my wife to ask what the name of it was again. Give me a second.
Oh, you must have
But
been
it
really
was
invested.
no, it's just the name of it because it's a weird name. It was
Was it a snuff film from LimeWire?
it was called Paddleton. So not Paddington, like the one with the bear. It's called Paddleton. You heard
Is
of it?
Ray Romano in that?
Yes. You
Aye,
seen it?
I'm aware of it. I haven't seen it
You're
though.
aware of it. So you haven't cried at it.
No, no, I just thought the you see the capacity to store education mine is the movie stuff.
Good. It
So
is
I have an
Mark
idea.
Duplass, who's the
Okay,
the main actor. Him and his brother make produce movies. Sorry, he's a good actor as well. He's in a show called The League back in the day, but he's made
right.
a few good movies. And yeah, he was the main
I'll
character
go.
in it. And I had a wee cry, mate, because
Oh,
all right, Mark
Deborah,
Duplass.
Deborah, Deborah. What's it about? Everybody
So
loves Raymond.
if you would love Raymond even more after this movie, you would.
Everybody's got cancer.
Not everyone in the movie's got
Deborah has
cancer.
cancer. Deborah,
Just
you bitch. It's something to do with cancer, isn't it?
Can you imagine if the last episode of Everybody Loves Raymond, it just turns to Deborah, and I can't do the voice, you can do it better. It just goes, God, stop being a whiny bitch for
Who's
fuck's sake. Every 5 minutes?
Everybody loves radiotherapy. Okay, what was that about?
Uh, Mark Duplass has incurable cancer in it, and him and Ray
Oh
Romano
no.
are best of pals and neighbours, like kind of lonely guys that happen to become best buddies. And there wasn't too much of backstory to it. It was very much they didn't explain why they were on because they didn't seem
He looks like Ron Livingston.
Ron Livingston.
Sorry, no
Ron
mind. He's another actor. He's spit an image of him though.
Ron Livingston is I know him. Anyway, the they're best of pals, and you're not actually sure why they're in the position they're in because they make them out to be kind of losers, but they're not really. It was one of those movies, right? That when you're watching it, and me and my wife watched it, and we both were enjoying it, but you're kind of chatting a wee bit in between to try and figure out things. It's not see when a movie's total shit. and you might talk during it because you're going, I don't get this, or you might stay silent because you're trying to figure out why is this movie being made. We were
Yeah.
talking during it, so going, what do you think of his? What's going on here? How have they ended up there? And then you're trying to figure out are they together? Like are they gay and they're actually together? And then you think they're not, and there's no backstory to the two of them. And then anyway, they apparently there's certain states or places in America where if you have terminal cancer, you can buy a cocktail of drugs legally and take them as like an assisted suicide, and it's not against the law.
Really?
I this blew my mind. I did not know this is the way it was going to go.
I want
Uh,
cancer, man.
Jesus, we want this episode to go out, James.
No, but it's not. No, but it was my cancer.
Aye, but you can't say you want it. There might be people that have it that really don't want it.
What's the good kind?
Uh,
Something they can cut out then, but I still get my cocktail of drugs.
like a wee, like an extra lobe on your ear or something.
Aye, like a mole.
Aye, right. But they
But
don't
yeah.
give you the cocktail of drugs to kill yourself because you've got a dodgy mole on your neck.
I would rather die. I would rather die. I would rather die than wear a vest again.
Like, we don't even need to knock you out for this surgery, mate. We just numb it a little bit. We'll just scrape off. No! Cocktail!
Tell me now. I'm not. I'm not beach ready.
People are mourning you at the funeral. Like, oh
There's
yeah. He got,
a
he got,
bald
he got
child.
the big C. He got the big C. Did they fight it well? Nah, he fucking chucked it after 2 days.
A
Just
bald
he
child
put,
sitting next to you in radiotherapy. Just. What's the film about?
I can't remember. So they have to drive. He gets the prescription from his doctor, but you get the just because you get that for the doctor doesn't mean you can just go to the next pharmacy and get it.
Right.
It just saying that doctor says you're entitled to that. So they have to drive 6 hours to whatever fucking town or state or whatever it is that they can get this stuff, and they get it, and they're trying to, and it ends up turning. So Ray Romano's the guy that's not dying, but it kind of becomes about how he's not ready for his pal to be gone and all that, right? Whereas like Mark Duplass is like, no, I'm fucking ready to go, man. I want to go before I'm useless, a complete like I have nothing working here. I want to go, and uh, it comes a point where they're ready to do it, and it's very, it's filmed morbid's obviously the wrong word, right? Because obviously the guy's dying,
Mm-hmm.
but in real time, like you see him like him measuring out the amount of water that he needs to put in the glass to give to his pal to
Right.
die, and then he's like, right, where do I want to do it? Do I want to basically when you drink this thing, you're going to feel a bit out of it. You're going to feel, and then you'll just within an hour of that you'll be dead. So you'll be going to sleep and you'll be gone. So he's like, all
Jesus.
right, where do I want? I know. And he's like, where do you want to do it? Right, do I want to do it on the couch? And then he's like, no, I don't want to be. Do I want to do it on the couch? And he's back and forth. So this whole thing about where he wants to die, and then he eventually goes, right, I want to lie on my bed, and they just kind of sat at the edge of the bed, and everything kind of slows down at that point, and then he just necks it, and then lies down, and he's just having this talking to his mate how he's scared and all that stuff, man. And that's the point where
You could be bubbling.
I
Now,
had a wee river. I had a wee
when you
river.
cried, is it one bead or do you go or
It's
is it silent? Do you
it's
jerk?
it started as no, I'm not a jerker. No, it doesn't.
You know,
My
jerker.
body doesn't kind of. convulsing stuff. No, I'm not that type.
Mhm.
It's more of a one tear, and then like I try and open my eyes as like this
I'm
isn't
not
ha-
crying.
feelings.
Sucking the tears back
Go
in.
away. But as a dad, you try and teach your kids like it's okay to feel all your feelings, right? It's okay to be angry sometimes. It's great to be happy. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to miss people. It's all that. And then you actually think about yourself and you're like, no, I avoid 90% of my emotions
Oh, you need to.
because they make it's not even anything about anything else. They make me uncomfortable. Never mind anyone else around me. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
suck up.
Mhm.
So I cried last night, James,
How much?
more than
Just a bit.
expected.
Moist eyes, and then like, or did you? It would be
Uh,
funny if you just burst into tears
right
with
now,
no real reason. No, just like last night with no real reason to like keep crying. Because
or like,
if it reminds you of like some tragic event, then I could sympathize. But like just if to make you like burst out crying, that would be quite funny.
yeah, busting out crying would be funnier.
Uh-huh.
Whereas just
But like no, but like not bringing back any memories. Just
like a skint knee when you're 9 years old. It's like,
yeah. Adulting.
no, no. But it started as one tear, and then it must have been heavy because it spread to two eyes. It was a two-eye cry, not just a single tear. And then I was like, I don't know if my wife noticed, but I was like, she better not say a fucking word, not a word.
Did you like?
And she's a trooper, so she said nothing.
Do you think she knows though?
Uh, she knows now because I texted her and said, "What's that movie I cried at last night?" And she obviously knows because she didn't ask, "Did you cry at that?" She just went, "Oh, it's called this."
Yeah, clocked you greeting.
I clocked you, you big wimp.
It's called Paddleton, pussy.
But I thought
Where can I watch it? What
it's
streaming service?
Netflix, mate.
Netflix.
Netflix.
I'll give her a
It's well
watch.
worth a cry. But I've just told you the whole film, so
Good point.
you won't. Have you ever seen Marley and Me? The dog dies.
Well, that's the bar for crying at films. I don't know what the
It
last
does.
film I cried at was.
Marley and Me
Probably
and that one last
Saving
night are
Private
probably
Ryan when
about
the
it.
Germans lost the front line and reached Normandy. I don't know.
Some Mussolini speech you watched on YouTube. That's the last time you cried.
Yeah, it's inspirational. Uh, Following a red Mein Kampf. I don't know. I do bubble at stuff though.
I tend not to. I don't connect that much with stuff I watch. I don't know why that resonated last night. It must have been the fine acting of Ray Romano. It just tugged at the heartstrings.
What are you dying? What are you dying? You fucking Paddleton? Are you fucking dying? That's not a good Ray Romano.
It wasn't, no.
I liked him in The
And
Irishman.
so did I. I like The
Aye.
Irishman in general.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Aye.
long. We all know it's long.
It should be
Let's
just
not
a
make
sign
that.
off. They should sign off all of those actors now. It should have been a send off for them, and they should retire after it.
Yeah. Do you know what bit was just really daft? Do you remember the bit where the guy chucks his daughter out of is
Horrible.
it the store or something?
The
And then
convenience
he
store.
goes and he tries to beat him up, but he's modified to look like a guy mid 30s, maybe
Yeah.
40.
Aye, he moves like an old
But
man.
he has the punches and feet movement of a 70-year-old man. Like if
I
that guy was fighting you, I'm not a good
yeah.
fighter, but if that guy was moving to, I would beat that guy in a fight,
I
like
would fuck him
without
up.
no doubt.
Yep.
His old brittle
He
bones
kicks
would be
like an old
fucked.
man. At one point, right, he goes to kick with the wrong foot and realizes, and he stamps the foot down. And when you notice it, It's bad. It's really bad. And I have a theory of why they kept that in because I reckon, right, De Niro's like in his what, mid 70s now,
Hmm.
right? I think De Niro is too proud, and I think he's too much pride, and they wouldn't say to him, they wouldn't use a stand in for fear of offending him, and I think that's why they left it in because it's. I don't know if you have you watched that again. Have you seen it
Just
once?
once, just
It's
once. I
bad.
had the
It's
one, the
if you
one
go
week
back and
spare to
watch it,
watch.
it's even worse than you remember. And I think it's so they don't offend Robert De Niro. I truly believe that because they could have the body double. I mean, they went to the effort of de-aging them digitally. They could have put a body double in easily. You barely see his face on it for a start. It's
The,
from
the,
a
there,
distance.
there are too many. You're right. Actually, see now I think about that. You're so right, mate. The There will be plenty of good to very good Italian American actors that could have portrayed a younger Robert De Niro
Aye, and
had they did the homework and got someone in easily.
see if you go back and watch it, Scott. Right, see if you concentrate on his body language. It's so noticeable that he's an old man. Like there's you know the point where he ditches guns off a river to get rid
Uh
of
huh.
like the evidence because they're like tampered guns or whatever, stolen guns. And he moves like rock'em sock'em robots. Like he twists and turns like this, and then he just chucks the guns off the side of the bridge. And if you go back and watch it, like it's so noticeable. Um, aye,
Surely Scorsese should be pulled up about that. Like, I mean, I don't know who's pulling him up. It's not as if Netflix are going to again probably have the balls to actually pull him up and go. It's your responsibility to say to these guys and direct these guys to go. Do you know what this?
nobody
Maybe we
steps
should
down
do
to.
some more CGI or get a different actor in because there's bits of this that we all know that there are tens of millions of mafia movie fanatics out there that will look over every second of this. It's our job to make this as good as possible. Uh,
It's basically they're like cinema
uh,
royalty. All of them. Scorsese's like
yeah,
cinematic director royalty. De Niro, Pacino, they're just all legend. No one talks to them about it. Like no one's telling them what to do.
but why taint yourselves at the end of this thing? Because they
It's
all could have
bad.
been in the movie. Absolutely could have been in the movie. But why not make it better? And
Pesci was
someone
good.
should someone
Like
should have said,
Pesci
right,
coming out of
Robert,
retirement was good.
getting Pesci out of retirement.
He was good in it. He was good. He was a very understated, like opposite to like Tommy and Goodfellas.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a good move because what's the point in trying to be an older version
I know,
of
like 8 years old. I know.
Tommy? That's just daft.
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine they could have pitched it to De Niro like Robert De Niro played a young uh, Vito in Godfather 2, but they didn't. It's like saying to them, imagine you weren't in Godfather 2, Robert, and we just took Marlon Brando and digitally modified his face, but we still kept the old guy in and did those
Aye,
scenes. They weren't as good. You were fantastic in that. Why not give someone else the same opportunity to be a young you? They should
aye.
have asked me. I'd have spoke to him. I don't give a fuck.
Fucking knocked the guy out, mate. You would
I'd have
have had him.
smoked him.
Fucking slapped him all over the joint, man.
Come round here, I'll beat him up in this cupboard.
With your pint of whiskey.
Robert De Niro's fighting tactic would just be, I'll just wait another, because that guy's going to be drunk on his arse, and I'll just stamp on
Aye.
him.
Do his wee stamp on you.
Ooh.
Oh, it's terrible. Fucking rotten. But listen, exactly.
Normally, when someone says, but listen, they have some kind of
I have
wisdom to
nothing to
pass
say.
off, James.
Nothing. I've never
Got
been
nothing to
wise.
say.
No. No,
I'm older than you, and I'm not wise. I'm not
you're not
old.
that much older than me though. You're only a few years.
I'm 58 years old.
Mhm. Mhm.
Do you ever think
I'm
about when you're
60.
old? What kind of
Uh,
old person you'd be?
I'll be this. I'll
I
be
reckon
this.
I'll be this as well. I reckon I'll
I've
be
been.
this.
I've been sort of mentally. I've been the same since I was like 17. Existentially, I've changed, but I've always been an old guy. I hate fucking like clubbing and stuff. I'm old. I don't like hassle, and I love some flan and a TV dinner and missionary
I
sex.
Before the last comment, I was just about to say you and I should move in together.
Keep well. Listen, let's not hesitate.
Hey, love can do
Missionary would
all
be
sorts.
weird though, wouldn't it? How would that work?
Yeah. But as we get older, like your ball sack will just get more and more flappy. So you could just
So
like,
we could create a fold.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
We'll work it
Looking
out.
forward to two people listening to this.
Yep.
Yeah, but I've been like that. I've never enjoyed nightclubs. I've never see that thing where you were even when you're 21 and you're in a pub and you're having a good time with your pals or a group of people, and then they go, right, it's 12:30. Let's go to whatever nightclub. And you're like, so the good time we've had here, where we've all like spoke to each other, had a good
Aye.
drink at
Yep.
reasonable prices. We're going to take all the good bits that we've had here and have none of them over there.
Uh,
Like none of them.
Especially mates
All
who
we're
never
doing is taking
pool.
our bodies there. All the good stuff's
Aye.
here. We're not the good stuff. So
Aye. So
why are we going?
to somewhere where we can't hear each other. Especially mates who don't pool. So it's like fair enough if you go and you're guaranteed you're gonna pull some bird, but you just going to a club where you just shouting in each other's ears, standing in a corner like the
Yeah,
in-betweeners.
you've still got your same mates shouting why Celtic got their tactics wrong at the weekend in your ear
Aye,
as
but it's
bits and
aye.
pieces plays over. Lennon should have
Never
played a
gets too
4-4
spicy.
fucking 2.
Aye.
Yeah.
Nah, fuck that. Because back to my theory of drinking shots is because people are insecure.
Insecure and uninteresting.
Aye. I think
Why?
if you're interested enough, you can hold up conversation. You don't need to get absolutely mortal. Like drinking games suck, man. So does fucking Cards Against Humanity. Like I'll give you funnier answers and fucking playing Madeline McCann every second card. It's not funny anymore.
Ugh. It's
She
it
went
was it
missing
was never
fucking
funny.
15 years ago.
It was
It
never
was
Cards
funny for the
Against
first
Humanity is
month.
against laughter.
Cards Against Laughter.
Mm-hmm.
Cards Against Edge Lord Anity. Is what I say.
I need to pee, mate. Would you like? Do I need to give you a subject so you can talk about it for 90 seconds?
Throw it at me, but I might just sit in silence.
My laptop is currently propped up so that you don't see my double chins, and it's propped up on a chessboard. So you have to talk
Right,
about chess for 90 seconds.
okay. Ooh, Williams. Ooh, laptop to the chessboard. Ooh, there's a double chain. Oh, it's a triple chain. I don't know, a single chain. Look under this, another chain. Oh, good morning, Scott's chin. I can't believe no one's listening to this. Another week, another lack of listener. No listeners, baby. Comedy. product placement there. Beats by Dre. They sponsor the podcast. They're fake. Got them down the bars. They were 20 quid. Don't have a kite mark on them because they're not registered, not pat tested. Um, don't meet any of the European standards. If you plug them in to charge them, I don't think the plug's fused. That doesn't meet any of the British standards at least. So if you plug these into charge, you just hope that you have an MCB or some sort of residual circuit protection in case of an electrical fault because they're from the Barras. Got my PlayStation shipped to the Barras when I was like 12. That was a good birthday. It was a very working class birthday. Walking about the Barras with fond memories. Me and my dad. And he's back.
Where are we at with the chess?
I was talking about getting my PlayStation chipped up the Barras when I was 12.
Nice. Original PlayStation, what are we talking here? PlayStation 2, or just regular
PlayStation 1.
PlayStation? When it was just
PlayStation 1.
PlayStation.
And you get like 20 games for like a fiver or whatever. I went up the Barras not that long ago. Like 2 years ago. And they have stalls still out selling fake DVDs. It's incredible.
That is bonkers, man.
I like with the like the shittly printed labels on the front.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't believe it's still a thing. Like IPTV streaming services, how easy it is to get movies online.
Exactly. See, because you don't even need to know
Incredible.
how to do it yourself. You just need to speak to anyone at a pub or online or anywhere, and
Yep.
someone will get you these things. You don't need to go to the bars.
Aye.
But I don't
But
want
it was
people being
all
out
there.
of work.
No. No. No.
Well, you and I were at the Barrowlands, weren't we?
We were at the Barrowlands. We did a gig at the Barras.
Yeah, we did a we did a gig at the Barras, and then we went to the
Mm-hmm.
Barrowlands to see the
2 for
old
a
comedians.
pound. That's how we
I
flyed it.
still I still remember people shouting things like that.
2 for a pound. Aye, there was a
Aye.
few of it when I was up there as well, and it wasn't even 2 years ago.
What can you get now? What kind of stuff are they punting for two physical things you can walk away with that you could go, that's a
Eh,
bargain, getting two of them for £1.
DVDs was one, and fake like headphones, like Beats by Dre or like J's or whatever.
Jesus.
And
It's still
my
good
pal
for a
asked the guy,
quid.
I was like,
I actually probably would buy that.
"Aye, I know, they're probably real as well, just stolen."
Yeah.
And there's a boozer, and I love shit boozers. Like
Ah, James.
I'm obsessed with shit boozers, mate. I
See, the
love
more
them
and more
so
you
much.
talk, right, and you talk about how you're going to be when you're older, apart from
Mate,
when
we're
you
peas
said
in a pod, aren't we?
you and I are going to have weird sex between the ball sacks. Other than
Mhm.
that, like we're on the same level here. I love a shit boozer or an old man's boozer, somewhere that there's a weird smell that no one knows what it
Yep,
is. That there's
yep.
still it's steak pie with a cup of peas, that kind of shit. Oh,
Tetley's on tap. I
aye,
mean,
the beer's
there's a
warm.
Tetley's sign. Who knows if Tetley's is in the keg? Aye, the beer's
Why is the
roasting.
beer warm? Aye.
Yep, love it, man.
Oh,
But there's a boozer and it looks rough as fuck, and I really want to go into it. I don't know if it's probably not survived COVID right enough, but
near the
aye,
bars,
in the bars.
in the bar, like in the
And
bars.
see when you walk onto the Barrowlands and you've got the big arch, it's like the
Aye.
Barras. You walk in there, you straight ahead, you go left, and it's like this main strip of the Barras, the strip, and there's like a pub in there, and I imagine you ain't walking in there without getting stares from every angle. Like unless you're a regular,
I'm
you ain't coming out
interested.
alive. So, aye, to even come out alive would be a bonus.
I'm in that part of town on Sunday. I might
Check
take
it out.
a wee
I
wander down.
mean, I would be interested to know if they have a beer garden.
They've they've got the bit where the bins are. If you put a chair there, you can serve a pint
Garden
on it.
enough. Mm-hmm.
Aye. That part of Glasgow's weird. It's gentrification. That's the right word, isn't it? Where somewhere is kind of run
Yeah.
down and then hipsters not move in, and all of a sudden somewhere like that pub you're talking about that's probably still 165 a pint. They'll open up somewhere that's £7 for a Diet Coke.
Mm-hmm.
But the place we're going on Sunday, my sister-in-law's getting married there. I think it's called Bad. I've never been.
Oh, and that's in the bars as well. Uh-huh.
Aye, that's why I'm
I had
saying
a
that.
few
I'll be
pictures
in
of it
that area.
last summer, man. That's quite a
Uh,
good wee place.
I've heard it's nice, but if we're in there,
Mhm.
I'll maybe say, "Oh, my mate James suggested this place down here."
I don't
Does
even know
everyone
what it's
have
like.
their knives?
You'll see like tenants logos outside. I couldn't even fathom what it's called. But it's not. It's not conventional looking. It looks like it would be like a Masonic or something.
Hmm.
It looks like a wee tiny boozer. But aye, your
No, what
sister's
you'd
getting
love,
married in the bar as boozer or bad?
and I think it's in Bad, mate. I think,
You think it's right?
yeah.
Okay, that's
I'm
good.
not entirely sure. Uh, I
You
pay
double
little
check.
attention. Yeah, I
Right.
might.
Okay.
I'll text her now. Are you getting married in a shit boozer? No, what you'd love if you came up to where I live. Where I grew up is like an old mining town. So there's a miners' welfare place, which is very old school, kind of old manny pub style that you're talking about. And it's the kind of place that everyone had their 21st. I had my engagement party there.
Really?
Aye, and it's the type of place that the prices never change. And
Even
you
with
walk in,
inflation.
right? You walk in, and it's still to the, well, obviously it's closed now, but up
Oh
until
no.
before it was closed, the men signed in at the front door. The women just on you go hen, but the men had to sign in at the front door, and it's still like that.
Really? Is it
Aye, and
shut
there's
for
like
good, or do you mean it's because of COVID?
no, because of COVID, obviously
Oh,
it's not
right,
been
okay.
open, but I'd imagine it will because it was the place that every and the where we grew up, every 21st or engagement party was always there, packed out because you could
Yes.
walk in with 30 quid and have a fucking good time, man, for 30 quid.
Class.
Aye, it's disgusting but very enjoyable.
Aye. Is it like an old building then, like a
Probably
miners' welfare?
ah,
Is it like ex miners?
yeah, like a
Oh, I thought it
working
was like
man's
miners'
club.
welfare because it was just kids. It was like a miners' welfare, but it was like a for kids who need a underage drinking club.
We had plenty of them growing up, man.
Aye.
But they were just in swing parks. We call back to a joke from the other night's gig. Uh, no, you'd love it. You'd love it if we get back to some point. My next big birthday is my 40th. That's a horrible
I would
thought.
I would love to be there.
It's 6 years away, mate. So I'd imagine if you pencil it in, February time
Right, okay.
in 6 years, you might be able to make it. They've got three different rooms. One of the rooms actually would be all right for comedy. See now, this is like sorry to anyone that's listening. This is me just spouting out shite that I've just thought of, but actually
If you started the night there, would it take off?
the drinks are very cheap.
Aye.
It's easy to get to, and it's in the middle of the town.
This is in Turkey.
Yeah,
Aye. See the Barton Stadium started a comedy night and it was just starting to take off before all of this.
I had a gig booked there. before
Aye.
for end of March or start of April, and yeah,
I get
and
nothing
apparently
but
it was really
praise,
good.
man. Aye. I'd like to see that because it's like there's nothing within a. I mean, like Kevin Bridges is from Clydebank, and I don't know any comedy shows that maybe in the past, but I don't know anything that's come out of Clydebank. And that would be the closest.
Is Clydebank maybe just too close to the West End, whereas Dumbarton, which I
Yeah,
know
aye.
is only a few miles away, like it's not
Mhm.
far at all,
Aye, it's
because
just down the road.
you're
Aye.
like Clydebank, Duntoker, then just
Aye,
keep
and then
heading
basically just
Dumbarton
dual
on it.
carriageway, and then it's Dumbarton more or less. Aye.
Yeah,
Um,
just miss it the Erskine Bridge, you're at Dumbarton. This is
yep.
the this is the dual
This is
carriageway podcast.
this is the highway code.
Hey,
We should just well, we can it here. How long's that been? That'll do. No one's listening
that's been
anyway.
an hour.
Fuck it.
That's been okay.
Thanks for not listening.
It's okay. Me and James are going to move in together.
Yep.
Peter, you can come round and I don't know, serve us drinks now and again or something. I don't know what use you'll
Sporadically,
be, Peter.
you know, whenever you feel like it, Peter.
Whenever
Maybe
Arsenal aren't playing, if you could make it,
maybe
that'd be
maybe
nice.
every Thursday, but cancel every other Thursday. You know,
Because Ramadan. Has anyone
mm,
else ever heard of that?
religion. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, no.
Do you want to sign us out, sing us out, rhyme us out, knock us out?
See you later. Bye.